The moment could be delayed no longer. It was time to set Mistral free. Nova gave a practiced flick of her wrist, and the falcon extended her wings and took flight. Watching her go, Nova felt suddenly weightless, giddy. She reached out both hands to grip the balcony. Snatching uneven gulps of air, she was distracted by signs of activity below her. To the right was the dark blue-green forest, and beyond that the silvery fjord. Turning her gaze in the opposite direction, she saw a cluster of figures in the glen, a hunting party. She strained her sight with the effort of identifying the figures, but her eyes soon budded with water again and her vision became blurred. She lifted a square of linen to her eyes to absorb some of the moisture. Piecing together the picture, Nova realised that Prince Anders' younger brother, Prince Jared, might be one of the hunters. Was it possible that the young prince did not yet know of his brother's fate? She knew this, just as surely as she knew that dark and difficult times lay ahead, not just for her and the rest of the 12, but for all of Archenfeld. I'm Justin Somper. I'm the author of the Allies and Assassins book sequence, and we're here today at Castle Gwydir in North Wales. The reason being that this is one of the locations I visited when I was researching the fantasy world of my book, and this place is a key inspiration for the main palace within Archenfeld, the princedom at the heart of Allies and Assassins. I was here 2 summers ago, and by that point I was already in the heart of writing the first book in the sequence. But I just got to the point in it where I really wanted to feel, although it's a parallel world story, a fantasy story, I wanted to feel a really strong sense of place when I was writing to convey that to readers. So I came to this area for the best part of a week and just really soaked it up, the countryside and the many different kinds of castles around here. I feel quite emotional being back here with the book actually, and meeting the owner of this place for the first time, and just remembering lots of the different influences and little bits and bobs that I picked up here. So behind me I've got this cedar of Lebanon that was planted in 1625 for King Charles's wedding, and there's just a small homage to that within the book where 2 characters are walking through the palace gardens, and there's these 2 lines of trees, and there are different trees, and they've been sort of started to be platted together, and that's to honour the marriage of Prince Anders and Silva, who comes from the neighbouring kingdom of Woodlark. And yeah, it all began with that tree really. So Archenfeld is one of a group of small territories, and they're often in conflict, and their alliances and their borders are shifting all of the time. And we come to Archenfeld on perhaps the darkest day in its history, because the court is waking up to the terrible news that Prince Anders has been assassinated. And everyone is reeling at the news of his death, and nobody is reeling more than his 16-year-old brother, Prince Jared. So he knows that by virtue of Anders' death, he is now going to become the ruler of Archenfeld himself. At the age of 16, and it's a position that he never wanted and in so many ways is not prepared for.